No recession in the US until 2025, but prepare for more shocks. How do you see the road ahead? Is there any slowdown in your business? Good morning.
Good morning. Good to see you. Looking at the world, when I started the year, I said this is for sure not a year that is going to be business as usual, and that is actually taking effect. We do see that there are different trends in the world. The US, we do see strengthening a bit. So I think in that building on what was just said, we see some of that also back in our business segments, both in the healthcare segment as well in the consumer segment. But globally, we still see also challenges in Europe, which is slower, China, which actually is still slower. So overall, the world macroeconomically still is not in its best shape, but we do see it slightly improving in certain areas.
We're grappling with strikes from the UAW. You have many manufacturing plants in the United States of America. You're a new CEO. Set the tone for wages at Philips. Are you a supporter, an active supporter of wage revision and revising them higher? How are you going to set the tone for wages from the top at Philips?
So we are in active dialogue continuously also with our workers and also with our manufacturing facilities. So far, actually, everything is conducted in good faith, and we are running at full steam. We have also been raising wages across the globe in line with market conditions and inflation. So it's something that we have been supportive in because labor is short. It's important that we keep the operation going. So we have been taking action there.
Do you still have labor shortages?
We do see certain areas where labor is short. For example, we are dialing up big time in AI and in the area of software. Of course, that is something that many more are doing. So that's an area where we are hiring and taking people from the market. We also are able to recruit, but it is a short market. So there are specific people that we are after that are in high demand, and that's where AI plays part.
So tell me, you're spending on AI briefly. What would you say your budget on AI is? Are you spending $1 billion, $2 billion in hiring and AI? What's the round figure for AI? We'll get to the recall in just a second.
Yeah, if you look to kind of our R&D spend, it's around 1.7 billion a year. Of that, more than half is actually software, and AI is an increasing part of what we do in software. So actually, AI is really taking a significant shape of that, and the application of AI is also really impactful. We are already using AI today, for example, to help to predict an event from happening when a patient is in the hospital, or to increase scanning times by 3 times by putting AI on an imaging device. Also, we are using it and looking at generative AI, how we can use it to reduce the administration time that a nurse uses per hour, average 15 minutes, to make their work easier.
Let's get to the big issue. Your stock is down by 50%. You've come in to turn this company around on the CPAP recall. I've got figures in front of me saying 5 billion euros is the right number for litigation. You've only provisioned 1 billion so far. What is your estimate, your best estimate now to the market on what this recall and litigation is going to cost you?
So the recall, of course, is very important for us, first and foremost, from a patient's perspective. We made great progress in remediating the patient's sleep. Remediation by now is nearly done. We are at 99%, so the patients are getting, the devices are getting back on therapy. That's also where we provided the 1 billion for. So that actually has been moving along with pace. The second part is we have been closing on an economic loss provision, where we provided 575 million earlier this year, Q1, and we just settled it at 479 million. So we also have been closing that out. Then there is further litigation coming.
So could it get to 5 billion? That's the question, Roy. How close to multiple billions is it going to be? Briefly.
We don't speculate on that number. It's too early. We are in the process of going through the investigation on that. So we have not put a number out. If we have, of course, insights around that, which we said probably is not earlier than 2024, we will bring that to the market.
What's the progress on the recall? Just remind us where you are in terms of the recall. How many have you brought back in? How many more to go?
So in essence, the sleep recall is nearly finished. We have replaced 99% of the devices in the market, which means, and that's great news for the patient, that they're back on therapy. So actually that part is really being dealt with, which also allows me to focus on the other important part of getting Philips back winning again and progressing on our performance journey, where we have seen that we have now 3 quarters of growth, and that is on very distinct actions on improving our execution, both in patient safety and quality, in supply chain, but also in simplifying the organization. So we are on a track where we're improving both growth and profitability on a quarterly tenure.
As I look at this storyboard, and I've interviewed your predecessor for 10 years, I'm introducing myself to you. I want to know who you are as a CEO. You've got a DOJ investigation, open-ended financial risk, and a reputation crisis. As those issues mount, would you support clawbacks on your predecessors if it is found that they deliberately, perhaps, withheld information? Are you a supporter of clawbacks and penalties to predecessors?
I'm focusing actually on bringing Philips back to where it belongs. And that's where I presented the plan earlier this year. That's where actually I've been relentlessly focused on improving our execution, getting momentum back. We're seeing that also coming back. We are able to provide more innovation solutions to the healthcare customers that we serve and also the consumers that we serve. The 3 progressive quarters of growth
are underpinning that. But do you think that implementing something like clawbacks would help restore the credibility and perhaps give you the opportunity to say, this is who I am. I'm going to make sure that there's some kind of accountability here. Just briefly on that, and we will move on.
So I've been taking accountability for the future of Philips at the moment I started, and that's what I focus my time on. That is resolving the recall for patients, is also working through the challenges that are tied to the litigation, but also very much focused on getting the other 18 billion of Philips to get really to true value potential. And you saw, for example, a big investor coming in, putting 3 billion into Philips because they are excited by that value creation potential that Philips has. And that's something that they see underpinned by the actions that we're executing on.
Will they take a bigger stake, and how active have your discussions been with Mr. Elkin?
So we have been actively engaged because this is not only about money, it's about building trust in each other, building trust in the trajectory. They have been taking a 15% stake. They can take up to 20%. They're putting a clear vote of confidence in, and that actually is a great subscription to what we are working towards. They also have great experience and a track record in other industries that they're in of value creation. So together we are on this path to really bring Philips back where it belongs.
We just heard from Larry Fink. He says he's underinvested in China. We hear lots of politicians telling us from the United States to Europe, which is de-risk from China. When you hear de-risk from China, what does that mean for you as a CEO? Are you preparing to decouple, retrench, friendshore from China in terms of your manufacturing?
So China is an important market for Philips. Around 15% of our revenues are in China. But what's important for us is actually that we adapt to the new situation in the world from a global supply chain perspective. And the global supply chain in the new world requires that you regionalize more. That's not only China, that is also for Europe, that is for the Americas, that is for India. So we are actually making sure that we have the right setup to serve our customers in the specific regions.
So briefly then, will you retrench from China, Roy? We're up against the clock, and I need to know, will you retrench?
We will not retrench from China. China remains an important part of the future of Philips and also how we provide services in China, but also to the rest of the world.
Roy, it's been great to catch up with you. It's always tough when you've got a big job to do, which is to restore value. We wish you well, and hopefully you and I will be talking in 10 years' time, as I did with your predecessor. Thank you for your time this morning, sir. That is the Philips CEO, Roy Jakobs, there.